Hi everyone, my name is Dai Feng. Today I'm going to talk about the lesson plan on watercolor painting using water control techniques. About the lesson, live demonstration of the watercolor painting techniques will be followed with practical exercises for the students. The lesson will be taught mainly using live watercolor painting demonstration by virtual meeting and some presentation slides. The topics covered are three watercolor control techniques, namely wet on wet, wet on dry, and dry brush techniques. The class duration will be 120 minutes. Class size will be for 10 students aged 8 to 9 years old. The class profile will be for beginners. As for the learning outcome, the students will be required to complete a watercolor painting demonstrating at least two of the watercolor control techniques taught during the lesson. Digital classroom. Soft background music will be played once the teacher log in 15 minutes before the lesson starts. Due to the small class size, the teacher can mark the attendance of the students by counting the windows once they are logged in. While waiting for all the students to enter, the teacher will greet the students present and they will be followed with a short introduction about themselves. Teacher can also check with the students if they can view the teacher's virtual classroom from their own computer screen. When all the students are present, they'll be told to keep the screen on throughout the lesson, use emoji or type out in the chat box at any time during the lesson so that the teacher can pause and address their questions if possible. Building a sense of community part 1. Due to the nature of the lesson where technical knowledge are imparted to the students, the teacher will be considered using a sage on the stage methodology. The learning portion of the lesson is observing the live demonstration of the water control techniques and understanding of key information throughout the presentation slides. Midway through the 120 minutes lesson, a 5-minute short break will be given to the students. Once lesson resumes, teacher will engage the students in a Q&A session where they will be required to answer the questions that the teacher posted in the chat boxes. Before the lesson, a list of painting materials to prepare will be given to the students in advance. They will need the materials in order to demonstrate the techniques taught during the lesson. Building a sense of community part 2. The lesson will be conducted using the Ghanaian's 9 events of instruction. There will be a total of 9 events in total. The first event, which is gain attention. The purpose, to present introductory activities, which will take up 5 minutes. This part of the lesson, the students will give a short introduction and test their microphones and webcam. For the second event, which is inform learners of objectives. The purpose, to let students know the objective of the lesson, which takes up another 5 minutes. This part of the lesson, the teacher will specify the learning objectives of the watercolor painting lesson to the students in the class. For the third event, which is stimulate recall of power learning. The purpose, to present topic and experience that stimulate memory or power learning. This will take up 10 minutes. This part of the lesson will be to gain interest of students by showcasing drawings using painting techniques, which will be taught during the lesson. Part 4 of the event will be present stimulus. The purpose, to deliver content. This will take up 5 minutes. This part of the lesson, teacher will demonstrate the painting techniques live through the virtual classroom setting. The fifth event, to provide learner guidance. The purpose, provide learners examples, which takes up another 5 minutes. The teacher, for this lesson, the teacher will provide presentation slides on techniques, names, and points to note when during the application. Number 6, the event will talk about illicit performance. The purpose, provide practice opportunities. This will take up 5 minutes. After each demonstration, the students will be required to practice the technique and show the teacher. For event 4, 5, and 6, there will be a total of 3 repetitions where the 3 watercolor control techniques will be taught to the students. After that, we will proceed to event 7, number 7, which is to provide feedback. The purpose, providing immediate, specific, and corrective feedback. This will take up a total of 20 minutes. The example of this lesson will be, teacher will provide feedbacks to the practice after the students have completed them. The 8th event will be assess performance. The purpose, to test the learners. This will take up another 20 minutes. This part of the lesson, the teacher will provide a final drawing assessment where the students will demonstrate the techniques taught. Last but not the least, the 9th event, which is to enhance retention and transfer. The purpose, to give resources that enhances facilitation and retention of knowledge transfer. This will take up 15 minutes. Q&A session to ensure the students understand and remember the techniques taught. Next will be digital tools. The lesson will be conducted mostly using the overhead camera, where different watercolor techniques will be demonstrated live in a step-by-step sequence. Wire headset with microphone will be used by the teacher throughout the lesson for better audio clarity. As the portrait of the teacher in the room environment will be shown during the online lesson, the room will ideally be illuminated by natural light. However, if unavailable, artificial light facing the teacher and the overhead camera is required to provide a better visual experience for the students. Framing of the visual is important as live demonstration could be fully captured within the camera lens boundaries. Stable and fast internet speed is required to avoid network disconnection and audio-visual lags during online lesson. This is important as large live video files will be transmitted over the network and it could be disrupted due to poor network connections. Lastly, consideration, feedbacks, and assessment. After each demonstration of watercolor techniques by the teacher, students are required to repeat the techniques by painting them on the drawing paper and showing their drawings on the screen. At the last part of the lesson, teacher will show a completed drawings where the students are to use the techniques taught earlier and apply them in their drawings. A final Q&A session after the drawing to conclude the lesson and clear any doubts that the students might have. Lastly, students will be required to provide a feedback using Google Form. That's all for the presentation. Thank you.